What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to Friday. This is your reading for Friday, June 10th. So we're going to dive right on in here. So I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay, so we're going to dive in here. It's a little bit chilly today here where I am, so I got my hoodie on. We're going to start with the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle and see where we go. I also have my little squish right here. She's been hanging out. Yes, I know. She's been hanging out with me this morning, leaving little kittens on my desk. But we'll start here. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for June 10th, please? Time for a quantum leap. Yep. For this you were born. Foster your intention for incarnating in this dimension. Yes, indeed. What would your higher self do? You are divinity in blue jeans. Yes. I think this is about getting back in touch with your sort of higher self, your spirit in you manifest, the way that this is all working together for you, wherever you are in whatever you're experiencing. And just how all of it is coming together for you. Because I think that there's a lot that is working out for you. I'm feeling like the theme that I'm pulling from these cards in particular, I'll put them here so you can see what I see, is like some throat chakra energy. There we go. That's better. So like we have the blue here, but what would your higher self do? Comprehending. Like this is a sort of comprehension, which also involves the throat chakra. And then this is like, for this you were born, this sort of articulation of your power. And then time for a quantum leap, seeing things slightly differently, which does involve the third eye, yes, but there's also an aspect of it connecting to your throat center. Let's use we're going to use the Muse Tarot as we do. Whoops, sorry for shaking the camera there on you. My daily creatives. Look at that face. That face is so cute. Oh my goodness. Anyways, her little toes, her paws have these like different colors on them, and I melt every time. And she's like 12, so 12 years. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? For June 10th. Three of Wands. The Star and the Page of Cups. Death. Seven of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Five of Swords. Page of Swords, Ten of Swords, Two of Swords, Two of Cups. Oh, and the Sun on the bottom. How sweet is that? My daily creatives. I'm melting. I'm just going to put that. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let me see if turning this light on helps with the shine on the cards. Not so much, but that's fine. I can dream, right? So we're starting with the Three of Wands here, which I think is like a good place. You're starting, it's almost like that, like fresh vibe, like TGIF, like it's Friday. Yeah. Friday, right? Like it's this optimistic place. And if you're watching this not on Friday, then I think it's just that you're starting in that optimistic place. You're starting off in that energy. There's like a freshness to you, and to your energy. And I think that this is, highlighting that point. I really get that this is highlighting the point with the Page of Cups and the Star here, this like healed energy, fresh-hearted, open-hearted view, take on the day, taking in information, but also, things are flowing through you from that open-hearted place as well. And I think that this is a bit of a transformative, I think that the joy is what's the transformative piece here. It's like things might come to you, but they get, turned around and changed. It's like you're alchemizing today, and you probably don't even realize it. Though death is quite intentional energy. I don't know that the death card can be, it can be unconscious, I guess, if it's in the reverse, but I get the impression that there's something very intentional about your energy today. And part of the reason, so this can become a tower if it's not addressed, which is the Seven of Pentacles, which is overgiving, focusing too much on, like, it's like all work and no play, like that kind of idea, which is very important, right? Very important. And I think that the Chariot is also this. So this is showing up in your protagonist position. So I think that it's like there's some way that the sense of play and fun is helping you to move forward. It's giving you that sense of momentum and that push ahead, push onward. But I think that this is like an integration of forward moving energy, and it's very passionate energy at that. It is Cancerian energy, but for some reason I'm hearing Mars on this. Yeah, I'm hearing Mars on that one. I don't know. That might be relevant to places in your chart where that sits, but this is like, this is quite important, I think, to cap the week off, because it's almost like taking the lessons, like it's like if you take the lessons as work as opposed to infusing them with some kind of fun, and the sun is here at the end of the week to point that out. So it's like if you take the lessons in with no eye towards how they are helping you, or with no eye towards fun, like making something fun, I think it's like that can be where things get a little drab, but you're moving things forward. So I think it's like the success here is in forward momentum. And also not letting things hold you back. Like the Chariot is a momentum energy, yes, but when I look at the horses here, I'm thinking like it can be an energy that if there's parts of you that you're not, and because this is Cancerian energy, I'm inclined to believe it's emotional energy, to balance out like this fresh energy, this passionate, heart-centered place that you're starting from. And then all of these swords come in afterwards, right? So I feel like it's more... it's related to patterns that can kind of get the best of you and run away with you if you're not careful. And the Five of Swords here is showing up in the antagonist position, because I think that how you see yourself really does matter. How the perspective that you hold of yourself really does matter. I think it really does make a difference as well, because it's not even a matter of... it's not even a matter of like other people treating you in this Five of Swords way. I think this is like you seeing yourself, the reflection, right? Like you're seeing something about yourself, but it's not like you're not looking yourself in the eye here. That's the mirror, but it's like you're seeing yourself clearly. You're seeing something clearly. And I think this is in the antagonist position, and it even flew out in the reverse. But I think that this is a little bit of like, if you don't see it, how can you possibly move forward? And that's where this is like the Chariot energy of emotional awareness moving forward, and that emotional momentum is going to be very important today and ongoing. Then the challenge today, again, we go to this clear sight, like seeing things clearly, seeing things as they are, but also, seeing people for who they are too. There's that Maya Angelou quote that states that, oh, Maya Angelou, I love her so much. It's that quote that states, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, because it's usually like pretty accurate. So it's like seeing people for who they are, and, ending what needs to be ended, not dragging things out. And that's where I get this like dragging things out energy that could be, this almost feels like this could underpin this work, right? Like you're not paying attention to, because you're working away, you're work, and that's not a bad thing. I love work myself. Like I really like putting things into this channel. I like hard work. It's just, that's who I am, but who I am is much bigger than that. Let's be clear here. It's part of what I like to do. But there's also a need to balance that with something else, right? There's a need to balance that with something else. I make time for friends. I make, time. I work part-time while doing this too, but there's like always, you need the balance. There's got to be a fun. There has to be a sweetness, right? There has to be a sweetness somewhere. And I think that it's sort of like, it's almost like bringing, that's what I get from this here, where it's like that fresh vibe, that like the sweetness. You start the day off on that note, and it's maybe there's something or some way that you're like connecting to the remembering that's where life gets really, really juicy and good, is in that sweetness, right? The savoring things about your life. About your day, about your experiences. And then the Two of Swords here, I think, is kind of gathering information. This is like looking around you. It can be a card of indecision, but I see it more as like collecting information in order to make the decision, because this is almost like an internal reflection or awareness, like, okay, some things have to change and end. But I think that this is you really reflecting inwardly beyond that initial awareness. This is like the aha moment where you see it, right? It's the aha moment where you see it. And then this is where you go within to make sure that you don't just see it externally. It's not just an awareness. It is actually something that you build on and change from. So I think that this Two of Swords is showing up here because it's like seeing patterns and understanding. Like part of the Justice card is the Ace of Swords cause and the Two of Swords effect, right? Cause and effect. So it's like the cause is the truth that you realize here, right? Page of Swords and the 10 of Swords. Whatever this truth is, I get the impression that you're seeing things about yourself. And this Five of Swords can very well be the way that other people have been manipulative in the past, the way that other people have been or have treated you in the past. Like that's an energy that's not uncommon to see, and a card that's not uncommon to see in the company of that kind of experience. So I think that it could be that you're seeing things very clearly, and these like little moments of joy are becoming, it's like a synchronicity that draws you deeper into a transformative process for yourself, or draws you deeper into a transformation for yourself. And I think the Two of Swords here is you really going within and seeing that, right? There's like you're it's like you're seeing this experience that you've had projected onto these walls, and you're 11:11 on the time, and you're seeing all of this stuff here showing up more profoundly. And then this Two of Cups and the Sun, I think, is you stepping into what you really want, right? The Two of Cups can indicate relationship energy too, so that could be indicative of this process is related to relationships for you. But if it's related to anything else, this is like embracing the right cups that are going to fill you. You know, I often say of relationships, and I feel like it's from Abraham Hicks, so forgive me, but I feel like it is. Anyway, it's like you can't go to the hardware store for milk, right? Like, and we do that so much with people where like people just are fundamentally incompatible with the thing that we're seeking. Like some people just can't hold space for you. When it happens over and over and over and over again, it gets really exhausting, and it's hurtful, and you have to make a decision, right? I've had to go through that with different friendships where if somebody can't do that, and it's very basic, it's very simple, just to hold space for somebody and just to hear them and to see them 12:12 on the time, where they are and as their experience is unfolding. And it's not saying hold them in a place of like low vibration and see them as they are in that moment forever. No, sometimes people just need to be held through a bad day or a tough moment, right? And it's, I think it's like that reciprocity and that even exchange, and that's what this is showing me here. And this, if it's related to work, it's like work that, you know, fairly compensates you, work that doesn't take more than it gives, work that isn't, it's very, the Two of Cups is an equal exchange of energy and time. It's an equal exchange. So let's clarify and see what wants to come out here to close out this week. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for June 10th, please? 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is so like, this is where it's almost like this information that you take in is, it's like started by this low key aha moment, epiphany, and then it snowballs into something much bigger with the Sun and the Two of Cups. Because this is like a welcoming in. This is, oh, I'm doing this sideways. This is a welcoming in energy, right? Two of Cups and the Sun. And it's a very happy and light energy too. This could be like flirting or like dating someone. It could be that's what's coming in. Like the Ten of Pentacles is like, but there's more to it. And I think that this is something you might see early on because you've done the work to cut this, like the energies out that pull you in different directions, right? So it's like you're seeing that, and this is like that investment moving forward. And I think it's you're very clear about this. Like this isn't so on the split, the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. And the Nine of Cups wanted to come out as well. Oh my gosh. So I think that this may have to do with relationships. If you're not looking for a relationship specifically, you know, we have the Lovers, the Ten of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. I think that this is like, this is the stuff of vision boards, yes. But more than that, this is the product of you being open from like this Page of Cups place and the Star, this very healing view of things, this healing take on things. And I think that that's really the important story here for you. Yeah. I think that's really the important story here for you. But I think it's also communicating what's important to you. The moon is under here. Yeah. So it's like, I don't think that you're communicating what's important to you as much as you might be invited to. Hence this throat chakra energy that I picked up on at the beginning of the reading, because Mercury is in the Lovers, right? And the Ten of Pentacles is like the awareness of what you want to invest in. But then I see that there's like this communicating of what makes you really happy and feel very content and satisfied, right? So it's this like abiding joy. It's a joy that abides by something, but it's like, are you communicating the something? Are you communicating that and also sort of emplacing yourself in that? Are you communicating the totality of that for yourself? Are you communicating all of it? Because the moon was like demonstrating that it was a little bit hidden. The High Priestess in Judgment came flying out here. Three of Wands, Ace of Swords. No, there's no Ace of Swords. No, I feel it though, because it's like a truth. Like it's like speaking your truth here. And then to clarify this particular aspect of the reading, we're going into this Three of Wands, Page of Swords, and Ten of Swords. So it's like you're seeing things very clearly. And I think that it's like almost like a bounce in your step. That's like the Three of Wands. It's like a little bounce in your step. Like your ships are coming in. Like, you know, you can see what's coming. It's the moment where it's like, what is the most obvious step for you next, right? I quote them all the time, but Abraham Hicks, it's one of my faves, right? When I was growing up, I listened to that a lot. And my mom listened to, well, she read the Seth materials through which she found out about Abraham Hicks, because the internet is the internet. But it's been around for a while in my life. And so I am apologizing not, but just know that it's around a lot. So it's like that we're asking questions related to how good can it get here? Like, how good are you willing to let it get? Because this Ten of Swords kind of intonates a release. It speaks to a release of something and the ending of something. And I think that this is a more intuitive listening, a more intuitive. I'm seeing an antenna up, like for a radio. So it's almost like your frequency is shifting because of the intuition here. And I think the moon is part of this High Priestess card because it is informing you. It's informing you that there's something that you're communicating about intuitively. This could be with someone. This could be with this person. There's like intuitive communication taking place here from spirit, yes, on the one hand, but then also I feel like this kind of bounce in your step is going to translate into a more of a communication about deeper topics and more specific things, I think. Three of Wands, Page of Swords, Ten of Swords. Yeah, there's like this deeper communication. Spirit, can you clarify for me here for my creative collective, daily creatives for June 10th? Three of Cups. I'm hearing clearing up, cleaning up the vibration of expectations. So it could be that there were things that you were expecting that were like just hangers on, right? Like, you know, nothing's going to ever be perfect. That's not the point of being here. But I feel like there's something about cleaning up that perspective with this Page of Swords here. There's like a perspective shift, a perspective tidy, like dusting it off. Three of Cups and Page of Cups. Yeah, and I feel like that's the healing energy here that we're seeing in this particular Star and Page of Cups that kicked off the reading. Is that I wanted to say healed heart, but again, like it's a process that's ever unfolding. So, and I think that's the beauty of it. And then on the bottom was the Two of Cups. Yeah. So I feel like this is intuitive communication that then it's made more real. Like it's made more real because you're taking this sort of lighthearted celebratory energy outside of yourself, and it's turning into these beautiful positive expectations that are affecting your relationships in terms of romance, in terms of soulmate connections, soul bond connections, in terms of networking and possibly business and work. Like there's just this freedom, like it feels very fresh, right? We had really humid weather here last week, and it was like so humid. Oh my gosh. But now it's like there's this beautiful clear breeze, and like the sky is just beautiful blue today. I'm hoping to get out and play outside at some point. But it's like this beautiful weather, this beautiful sky. There's the Ace of Swords. Do you see that? All right. And I think that's the truth of this. Yeah. And that's the, oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Do you want these? Where do you want these, Spirit? Okay. I'm not even done telling the story of these and that came out. Okay. But it's where I feel like it's like this fresh energy that's just breezing through. And I think that this is on the one hand, you're connecting to a truth about what's important to you, but also communicating it to other people through a passion for what you do, and also just embracing other people where they are, right? Like, I feel like this is indicating that next week, or the energies right now moving into the weekend, are going to be heavily about connections, right? Like, we're kind of stepping into that like wilding ourselves energy this week. Which was definitely thematic. And the Ace of Wands is here again, which is new ideas, fresh new ideas at that, passion, passionate relationships and connections, connecting to people who are meeting you in that similar energy. So it's like there's an even exchange, because it goes, you know, Ace of Wands, Four of Wands, Emperor, which is all fire energy. So it's like this energy that we're sitting in is also kind of the energy that's coming back to us, and that is creating a sense of stability for us. Could have been that you maybe felt not passionate about what you were doing for a while. I'm not sure how to, I'm going to get to this. I'm not done with this, but I was very excited by this all coming out here. But I feel like this Ace of Swords, this little Ace of Swords here, is telling me that, you know, the Judgment and High Priestess is like spirit communicating with you. And then this is you kind of being, I'm hearing in communion with, interesting, in communion with other people, right? Communion with other people, which is a really beautiful thing. It's like spirit communicates with you, which facilitates a kind of communion. Yeah, not to get all biblical, but that's fine. So we have this Star card, the Page of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles. So that initiating energy is really about a really beautiful space that you've worked on and made and carved out in your heart to take in the world, but also then to give back out to it, 2-2-2-2 on the time. So it's like this beautiful exchange of energy, and I think it's like, I'm hearing too that it's like clearing expectations, because this almost strikes me as like solar plexus energy coming up through the heart and out. So it's like your will, your courage, your ability to act on things is coming from this heart space today, or is shifting in that. There's something about it moving in that way that might be slightly different from what you've experienced before. But then this Page of Pentacles is like what seems like a slow offer as well, could very well pick up pace because of the passion that you feel for something. Or alternatively, there's a way that you are wanting to ground an idea in something that's a little more stable, you know, and I think that is the call of the day, because that stability, the Four of Wands, the stability card in the deck, this is also the 11/11/Twin Flame, but I see it as more as like contracts, marriage, that kind of thing. So these are like really important contracts that are coming to you, not just paper ones, but you know, soul ones too. And soul contracts sound like super serious. It's so intense. It can be, but it just means that like things that are really important to you and people that are really important to the evolution of your soul's path, to your growth, to your development, to your humaning here, is they are coming into your life. And I think that this is the stability that you started with here, is like you want to ground this passion in something stable. And I feel like Spirit is saying like, yep, okay, okay, that's what you wanted. So here's the stability. Here's the stable situations. Are you going to show up in the Emperor energy of wanting this? And like, that's kind of the question that I'm getting here, especially with the Page of Cups, like the cup energy. So the Page of Cups and the King, Queen, and Knight of Cups are, to me, a sense of connecting to your why. Right? Connecting to your why, because then the wands can do something with that fire, right? Then the Ace of Wands can do something with the fire. So it's connecting to your why. And it's almost like it hits a point where the stability comes in, and you're called upon to ask yourself, like, is this the energy that you're prepared to stand in? This Aries kind of boss energy, like, are you prepared for that? Is that something you want? So we have Death and the Chariot here. Spirit, can you clarify that for me, please? Death, the Chariot, 10 of Swords. Okay. The Fool came out. I don't know why Healing Expectations is so loud today for this reading. Because I feel like anytime I see duplicates here in the lower clarification row of this top spread, to me it speaks of the story of that particular energy. So we have the Ten of Swords here, and then we have the Ten of Swords showing up in the lower half of the energy here. Sorry about the glare there. Yeah, so we have the Ten of Swords here. So to me, it's like the story of this Ten of Swords, this ending is really one where you were holding back. I think you might have been holding back a little bit, but there's that it's bringing about this conclusion, right? And one of the minor arcana variations of the Death card, which is the major arcana, is the Ten of Swords, right? The ending and the new beginning. And we have 2 aces here already, so it wouldn't shock me if another ace came out. Yeah, I'm hearing Ace of Cups, but it's like with this. I feel like this is the difference here. This is the transformation, right? You can have all the positive expectations that you want, but if you feel like you're doing this alone without spirit, if you feel like you're doing this by yourself and not tapping into the help and the guidance that is around you, it will affect how, like, it's like you're putting an end to this effort-filled way of moving forward, and this feels much lighter. The Chariot is momentum, yes, let's not forget that. It's also Cancerian and 4th house energy. So I think that this is really about realigning how it is that you're manifesting, realigning how it is that you're bringing things in for yourself. Because I don't get the impression that it's particularly, I don't think it's been particularly healthy, right? The Devil card. Just because, like, the Chariot, it's almost like it's showing up in a bit of a reversal here, and I think that's why Death is here, to invite the transformation. Yeah, I don't think it's been healthy. I think it's been hurting you a little bit, how you've been, confusing overgiving for magnetizing things to you, for, being magnetic, for being attractive. Hierophant. Yeah. There's like a slow realization here. Hanged Man and Hierophant. There's like a slow realization of what's most important. And I think that this is something that is like, you're committing to people, yes, but you're also committing to a different way of doing things. And it could just be a minor thing, right? Like just specific to the way that you're working with energy and committing to yourself in the process, right? I feel like it's very much an energy of being willing to see, number one. Number two, I think that this is also an energy of being willing to take leaps and like not listening to the stories about why you shouldn't. This is like fear-based energy, right? Like holding back on things because you're fearful, because you're afraid. That fear is something that, we shouldn't push away, because sometimes it can give us really important information about something, right? I think that this is also an energy of, needing to know what to prioritize, like what is actually true of a situation, right? What is actually true of a situation? The devil or the fool, right? What's true? The devil you know or the devil you don't? And it's like listening to those stories that might keep you up at night, but then also like understanding and having grace for yourself, because you may not have had the opportunity or the ability to really listen to your heart, because you had to deal with these things, these swords first. You might have had to deal with that hurt first. And this is like pain that has a purpose in this Ten of Swords energy, right? And I think that you are turning away from fear-based thinking, because it's like considering all your options. Like this is like big picture thinking, right? Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Don't tell my fixed sign friends that. No, I'm kidding. I'm a lot of Aquarius, so I get it. But like this is like growth mindset, right? Versus fixed mindset thinking. And this is you being able to commit to yourself, to other people, to projects in that growth mindset now. And it kind of facilitates leaps on its own, doesn't it? Like, because it's like the alchemization of things that we may believe that would keep us small. because the Emperor is not about playing small. The Fool is not about playing small. The Hierophant is not about playing small. None of these energies and the High Priestess, Judgment, like these major arcana cards invite you to expand. Even like getting the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, those are expansion energies. And the Magician, yeah, 5 of Swords, Magician. The Sun. Again, yeah, this is like understanding your power. Understanding your power here and being kind of uncompromising, I'm getting. Because like the Knight of Wands, 8 of Cups, and the Page of Wands, it's like this sort of being a little bit uncompromising about what's most important to you. I don't want to say stubborn, but like you have so much manifesting power right now. So like, are you going to look at yourself through the eyes of this 5 of Swords, or are you going to call upon your Magician internally and understand that that is your joy right now? Because sometimes like the point isn't the stuff. It's not the manifestation. It's the journey there, because you want to get so good at alchemizing what's happening around you that you can cultivate peace, number 1, and number 2, so that you can look out at your world and say, wow, even if this doesn't come in that specific way, I'm still just so happy. I'm so pleased. And it's like you get into this place of appreciation for the things around you. Happiness can be kind of superficial sometimes, so I hesitate to use it as a linguistic significator alone, but it's like, so you're in this space of appreciating things because you're finding things to appreciate, which creates this sort of cycle that pushes the wheel to turn. And I'm getting that it's like you almost have to be uncompromising, right? You have to be a little bit uncompromising and willing to kind of stick up for what it is that you are, and this is like the uncompromising energy, right? Like, don't be afraid to walk away from scenarios and situations. And sometimes like it sucks when it happens, but sometimes you have to let people go too, right? It just is the way that life is sometimes. I found my friend group got a lot smaller, not just through the pandemic, but like through grad school and through a whole bunch of other things where it was just like, yeah, not worth it. Not my drama. And then when you start to go through that process, you then peel back these layers of awareness of how did that get to me in the first place? Like, how did that arrive at my doorstep? And why was I putting up with specific energies? Why was I, okay with those energies in? And it takes time, right? It takes time. And I think but this is like you really being uncompromising. And I'm not saying people are not things. Like this is not to suggest, to singularize people and to flatten them and say, you are this one thing exclusively only. That's it. That's all that you can be. No, like there's so much more. There's so much more to it than that. And people are not that one-dimensional piece. They are multidimensional as well. So I don't advocate like cutting people out or like calling things out and all that stuff, because it sounds great. But when you put that into an energy that affects other people, then it becomes something that reflects your energy as well. 3333 on the time. It's like it reflects your energy, not just how you're bringing energy to you, but also, we can't hurt other people and claim to be healed ourselves, and again, healing is ever unfolding, but it's like, I just don't advocate for that strong language of like cutting people out or cutting them off. It's like, no, sometimes we have to release them. And that's a tough thing to do for both sides, right? For both sides, because not only do you grieve that loss, but they will too. And so it's really about seeing that whole situation and sending it as much healing energy as you can from where you are. So all of this to say, oh my gosh, this is like turning into a little TED Talk. But all of this to say, I dislike the idea of just like, throwing things aside and being like, cut it out, cut them off, blah, blah, blah. It's because it's not that easy, nor should it be. So we have the Knight of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the Page of Wands. This is almost like... this is like being uncompromising, because I feel like it's like listening to too many different voices will take you in two different directions here. And there's one that you want to go in, right? That's up to you to know what that means. But this is like passion that can run away with itself. And like it can come across as like, there's like, this sort of immature expressions. Again, it kind of passes judgment, and it's not really our place to do that. But the way that you can experience the energy is not in alignment with you. And, you know, this energy can also not be in alignment. They could both be in alignment. And that's where it's like you have to go within. So this is a sort of action energy, but, you know, this passionate energy is bookended by and it could be a new start. I mean, it could be a new start that you really have to make a solid, sound decision on, right? That you need to kind of go within about to find out what's most important to you and your why. Why do you want an outcome in particular? And what is it that you're reaching for as part of that, right? How are you drawing that into your experience? Because you have the markers here to show that there's a really great beginning coming for you or happening or unfolding right now. So I think that it's really about understanding what you want and why, because your joy isn't in question. The manifestation isn't in question. You believing that you're worth it, Five of Swords is, and you also being uncompromising about your joy isn't necessarily, but it looks to be that it can get in the way a little bit, right? This is kind of like not being our own worst enemy, but kind of getting in our own way. And I think the Eight of Cups is an invitation to step out of that energy and into something a little bit more that just respects the journey that you've been on, right? Not just this week, but in general. So Spirit, what messages do you have? This is the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives for June 10th? Yeah, I'm not going to say it. Maybe one day, but this is about the hell yes, right? And it's that lighthearted energy that it's like being in that energy, that fun, that playful energy. I'm actually overdue for a day like this. My friend and I keep talking about doing it, but my friend and I have a semi-annual tradition called Put Shit on Charlie's Head Day, where we'll go out and I just anyway, it's fine. I ended up in a BuzzFeed listicle because I walked up to her in a craft store with moose antlers on my head and said, "I moose ask you a question," and did it deadpan. And anyways, so it's like those moments, you need to bring them in. That's not to be like, I'm amazing, because that's not the point. It's to say that kind of silly, lighthearted energy that's just ridiculous, right? Like, it's ridiculous. She tagged the craft store in it, and that's how it ended up in the BuzzFeed listicle. I was like, oh my gosh, I've peaked. But that, I feel like this lighthearted energy, like what puts you in that space of fun? What makes things like funny and playful, and like, go to the places that you don't have to take things seriously, right? Like go to the places that bring out this sense of fun and playfulness within you. That I feel like that's going to be really important, especially with this like hell yes energy. Let's pull one more here. Spirit, what messages do you have? Whoa. Turn on your love light. Yeah, it's like shining your light. It's like shining your light. This is really, it's like, and your joy, your fun, playful self is your radiance, right? It's your radiance. That's what is like really, that's where the sun came out twice. Like, did the strength card come out as well? I feel like, no, okay. But I feel like that it's like Leo energy. It's the 5th house. It's like fun. It's pleasure. It's joy, right? I mean, it's such a lighthearted space. So just leaning into that today and this weekend will probably be helpful, if not to like, sometimes it's just nice to anchor your energy in that, right? I would go to my granny's house and, I mean, I still do, but I'd be like, oh yeah, I have a date night with my granny. And, the time that I spend there would be so lighthearted, where it's like, you need those to balance out some of the days that we have. And like, if you look at the news cycle too much, you will see so many things that will make you need that energy more. So it's like finding the patches of sun and making like a cat and just laying in them, just staying there, right? Just staying in that space. So let's dive a little deeper here. That one's a little crooked. Anyway, a lot of them are. That's fine. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? What messages? Oh, see this. Yeah, maybe like a weekend away somewhere will help. I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. Yes. Yeah, this is like that recharge energy, like connecting you to fun, like, and connecting you, even if you don't do it, to the energy that would see you find like a gigantic foam flower at a store and be like, can I fit it on my head though? Like that kind of energy. I mean, you may not want to do that. That's more my thing. But like that playful sense of like, you know, when Target was in Canada, around Halloween, I would go, we would wander around the store, just, you know, in between different things. And one of my friends would often dare me. And of course, the Sagittarius on my chart, they don't even have to get it out of their mouth. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll just do it. But like walking around the store in a hot dog costume and just shopping, right? Like those kinds of ridiculous things that just, but obviously not doing it in a way that's like harmful to other people, but it's just like that connecting to that space. I'm trying to articulate it in different ways in the hopes that it's like the ways I've experienced it can articulate different ways that you might be able to tap into that, right? It could just be blowing bubbles. It could be taking bubbles to a park on a sunny day and just blowing bubbles, right? It could be, doing a Netflix party or something and, streaming movies and watching with other people there, right? It can be watching a movie that you know so well that you can quote the words to, and you watch that with friends. It can just be going to catch up with a friend and like, I don't grab a drink in public or something. In a pub, I meant, not in public. I don't. Oh my goodness. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's different things that means different things to everybody. So that I think it's a good time to recharge your battery. Because it also enhances your hell yes, right? Like it enhances your hell yes. It makes it so that your hell yes means so much more and is happening with so much depth to it. It's happening so much deeper because it's coming from a place of playfulness and like it's, Abe Hicks calls it friskiness. And I love that. Frisky. It's all frisky. To relinquish control, I simply let loose and allow myself to be more childlike. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I don't know what you're doing this weekend, my friends, but I feel like it might be a good idea to just play a little. Even take sidewalk chalk. If you have a driveway, do that. Even go to a park and do it. Like, and just draw with it, throw some sidewalk chalk out and just say like, it's, free for anyone to use. In Toronto, in Toronto, where one of my friends lives, they talked about how there was around their neighborhood, one of the neighbors put out a box of sidewalk chalk and encouraged people to draw on the driveway. And then their kids, so that person's kids would come out and draw around them. So they had this wicked mural on their driveway of all of this joy, this community joy. So it's those things too, right? Like joy is nothing when it's not shared as well. So keeping that in mind too. But this is your reading. Happy Friday, my daily creatives. We made it, TGIF. But really, if you're doing things you love and you're doing what you love, what's the TGIF for? Right? Thank God it's today. TGIT. But yes, so there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel, but and honestly, I really appreciate you being here and watching, so thank you for that. But if this is where we part, my darling daily creatives, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very well. Alrighty, take care and have a great weekend.